Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Diplomatic Security Service San Francisco Field Office here in San Francisco, California. I became a DSS special agent and I chose this career because I met a Foreign Service officer in a college class. I knew I wanted to be a civil servant because I come from a long line of civil servants and military folks, but I wasn't sure really what I wanted to do in the government. And this Foreign Service officer told us about the State Department. And I thought, wow, the government will pay you to travel and live around the world? That is very cool. So I researched the State Department in Los Angeles, and it turns out it was a DSS field office. I was hired as an investigative specialist in 1997 in the Los Angeles field office. And in 1999, I became a special agent and was shipped off to Boston. I've been posted in Los Angeles, California, Boston, Massachusetts, Minneapolis, Minnesota, currently San Francisco, California, also in Kyiv, Ukraine, Paris, France, and Lisbon, Portugal. Typically, a DSS or even Foreign Service posting will last 2 years with the option to extend to 3. Though in our nicer countries like London, Paris, Rome, those postings will be 3 years. And then in the more challenging countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, or Pakistan, those are 1-year tours. My favorite assignment, there's actually 2 of those. So my first favorite assignment was Paris, France. And because I was a French major in college, getting paid to be stationed in Paris was like a dream come true. It was something I never could have afforded as a kid. But here I was actually working in Paris. And so I got to do all the things I'd read about my entire life. Go to Claude Monet's house and see his gardens in bloom in spring, see the Eiffel Tower, walk down the Champs-Élysées. That was just the most amazing thing that had ever happened to me at that point. My second favorite assignment, for totally different reasons, was Kyiv, Ukraine. I was there during the Maidan democracy riots and the first Russian invasion. And as a history major, also besides French, getting to be an active part of history was just unbelievable. I was watching basically a reenactment of the French Revolution, people stacking up barricades any way they could and fighting against the government for their freedom and to be a true democracy. And because there were security challenges as the security officer, I got to do all the things that we'd been trained for all our life. And similarly to the military, we train and practice, but you may not ever get to use those skills. And I got to use them. So that was just the most amazing experience that I've ever had. My most memorable and fulfilling experience as a DSS agent was when I led a team that rescued kidnapped Americans that were being held hostage in eastern Ukraine during the separatist riots that were happening down there. It was myself, the embassy doctor, an FBI agent, and the security officer for the government agency that they had been working for. There was a nonprofit government organization down in eastern Ukraine that was providing humanitarian relief, and they were being kicked out. And as they were all being escorted to the border, the 2 Americans were separated and held hostage. And I led the team that went out and worked with the military to figure out their location. We fed information back to the Secretary of State, who then negotiated for their release. And then I took the team into separatist-controlled war territory, and we successfully brought them back home. The most challenging aspect of being a DSS agent is sometimes we're asked to do really difficult missions, and you have to balance that between getting the mission done and keeping the people safe. Sometimes the ambassador will come to you and say, hey, Jennifer, I really want to go do this. And you think, oh, sir, that is really not safe. But okay, I could say no as a security officer. I could keep us huddled in the embassy because that would keep us 100% safe. But that doesn't get the mission done. That doesn't forward diplomacy. So you have to find that balance between getting the mission done and keeping people safe. My advice for those of you applying for the Clark DS Fellowship is to do your homework. I used to sit on our board of examiners, and the candidates that were the most successful were the ones that knew the most about DS. They had read up on our missions. They had gotten on the State Department website. They had looked at what embassies do overseas. That will make you really successful. And don't forget the physical fitness. You do have to pass a physical fitness test. So if you don't have a physical fitness routine, start getting one now. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. You don't have to bench press like Arnold. You just have to be able to pass the run and do the sit-ups and the push-ups. So incorporate that into your routine as you're getting ready for the test.